watch back the video. There were no faux pas, so we are good. That's good. All right, guys, what I want to talk to you about is if you're in to the thick of it, let me see if I can lower this somewhat. Let's get more personal. If you're into the thick of it with a karmic, these are some of the things that you need to know. The first thing, for those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath who has been in the thick of it with a karmic. So I'm teaching you these lessons not because it's what I think or what I hope is true. It's what I know is true because I went through it with a karmic that was a Scorpio. So I got the thick of it. I got the full karmic experience. Now, here's what you need to know. This is not about your divine masculine or your distorted masculine. The first thing to know as well, there's a couple of firsts, is that if someone chooses the other party, the third party, the new supply. If karmic is another word for new supply, or the floozy at the office, or the person that someone has an affair with, or whatever way affairs happen, that's that. I have more messages coming up about that and about the various ways that we kind of exist as people and what we need and what we do and how we outsource. So, guys, there's a dark and light side to all of this, but this was the dark side for some of us, especially divine feminines. So if someone can come in and press on your relationship, it was never really a solid relationship, and it means that there were cracks in the foundation. That's what I learned about my relationship, even though that's not what I thought. Clearly, by allowing someone to interlope, that person, yes, I knew that they were attention whore and other things were going on with them, but I didn't think that they would stoop to the level that they did and be as spiteful as they were. That was a powerful lesson for me. But they couldn't be that way without an ally. And the ally is the karmic. Yes, your masculine or any guy or girl will use someone else to triangulate you. That is a thing done within karmic abuse, is triangulation, which is something a lot of us had happen with our parents if we are an empath in the empath narc dynamic, where it's a comparison. This sister is better than you, or this brother is better than you, or this cousin is better than you. So that's triangulation. It can happen in the office. This coworker is better, or it can happen in the band. This person that plays this instrument is better. But that's usually something that abusive people of all stripes, no matter what their denomination or moniker is, do to get you out of your feelings so that you feel like you're competing. Emily, hey, I guess you're supposed to be here. Hi, sweet pea. And others who come along. Emily is a day one. Say hi to her when you come in. All right, so the energy of this is that you need to understand that the other woman, whomever they may have pitted you against, wanted to be like you. You get it, guys? You may not think so, but other women do this. We all have a human nature to be stalkers. Even in the tarot, there's a card called the Page of Swords, and it is literally the card of the stalker. Anytime a reader pulls it, it means that someone is watching you, and they're paying attention, and they're very interested in what's happening with you. So what I will give you an example of so that you can understand this is Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts. So Chris Watts he committed familicide, and he killed his wife and kids because he fell into the clutches of a karmic affair. This is the Page of Swords here, and this is the Watcher. You see the intensity here, the gaze, the focus? So that's the energy. Any karmic person becomes that. Why? Because they're in their head, Nine of Swords, about how amazing you are, and they're in their head obsessively with the devil here, okay? So that's what you need to understand. Let's go back to Nicole and Chris Watts so that you can get a frame of reference for this, and then let's juxtapose it against your life if that has been your situation. Nicole Kessinger, it is said, was researching Shanann a year before. Yes, Folie à Deux, I love it. Yes, excellent, Emily. I told you you're avant-garde. Folie à Deux, indeed. Touche, Emily, indeed. So that was the energy. She had researched him. There were internet hits about a year prior to ever meeting, actually, running into her at an office party. All these things were orchestrated. Nicole had studied, had gone on Facebook, and had done what most any woman would do if there was competition, except guess who didn't know there was competition? The Divine Feminine, Shanann. Divine Feminine is Shanann here in the archetype. Distorted Masculine obviously would be Chris Watts, because when you murder your whole family and your kids for pussy, excuse my language, it's a late night, then you've lost your damn mind and you are now beyond distorted. You're demonic. So Nicole, though, was pushing the gas to the pedal. She was recommending songs for him to listen to. One of them was Metallica. It was Battery, which literally those things he put his children into look like batteries. She was forcing, like, are you going to be with her? Are you going to be with me? She was ratcheting it up. Why was this satisfactory for Nicole? Because she wanted to take somebody's man out the box. It wasn't even about Chris. Yes, Chris had a penis attached to him, and Chris was providing her pleasure, just like your masculine or your partner or ex-girlfriend, whatever, may have been doing. However, the real energy comes from this woman who's low vibrational, who doesn't have good self-esteem, who comes from toxic relationships with Nicole Kessinger from her own testimonies regarding, when I say testimonies, the recordings, excuse me, as well as text exchanges with friends, excuse me, she never met a guy like Chris. She'd been dealing with toxic relationships, probably because she's toxic. It reminds me of Young M.A., who has a song. She says, I broke up with my last girlfriend. Turns out she's toxic. Got a new girlfriend. Now we're toxic. Looks like I be toxic. So there are some of us that exist in toxicity no matter who we're with. But for Nicole, the karmic, she had existed in a low vibrational level of toxicity, and she just needed the right energy. Sloan Bella has a wonderful talk off about this. If you want to see it on a spiritual level, how demonically or energetically someone steps out of their body to allow entities, succubi or incubi energy in, and then they go after a partnership that is supposed to stand the test of time. So in my case specifically, this girl became really obsessed with me, wanted to get readings with me, was always talking about how she was jealous of me, and began obsessively researching me to find things wrong to bring to the person that should have had a backbone that didn't. That was not about her being so in love with him or her or whatever. That was about her being infatuated energetically. What makes her so special? Because when a karmic hasn't developed their sense of selves, and usually they haven't, they will start to look at the divine feminine and be like, why is she so special? And if she is so special and I get her person, then that makes me special by proxy. That's not how it works, Demi. That's not how it works. However, that's what they've convinced themselves of. So what they're doing is feeding off of your energy. This is why I highly recommend to separate. In my situation, when I noticed that I was starting to get physically ill, I noticed an infestation as well of bugs in my car, and I knew it was like the omen, guys. That's what I always try to tell you. This was a few years ago, and I remember talking to the masculine in my life and being like, I've had the weirdest infestation. It was right at the time that they were sleeping together. Her energy, if you study, and because of the way I get lessons, because I'm a practitioner and I do this kind of shamanistic work, which I would have never said years before this, also message, sometimes that karmic and divine masculine blow up can put you right into your north node. It has for me, and it's been such a beautiful blessing from it. But I remember the infestation. It's when she was infesting the masculine in my life. She was infesting. And infestations happen in that my divine masculine was a woman, for those of you that are confused and are new here. But infestations were happening in her house as well. We were 800 miles apart, but at the same time, we were both dealing with different infestations. Mine in my car, her in her house. And it was because a lower vibrational demonic energy was attached. Now let's think about like when we see demons on TV or depictions of hell. What are on the grounds usually? Creepy crawlers. Guys, this shit's not a joke. When people think like spirituality is just, just esoteric and its notions, no, this is real stuff. These movies aren't made, Poltergeist and Exorcist aren't made because people just had a great idea and they did too much acid one day. They're made because people have had these experiences. And until these experiences come your way, and God forbid that they do, you will not believe in the one divine and true. When that kind of thing happened, to me, I had to go so deep, and I was freaked out. And I knew it was sinister. I knew it was evil, and I knew who and what it was about. It was about someone who wanted in to my life and house. And she did get in. And she wormed her way in. She sure did. And she tried to kick me out. And I'm not going to say that she wasn't successful, but I am going to say you need to know why they're motivated to do it. It is not because they're so in love with the masculine. In fact, when I pulled my energy away, I know she was not interested. I knew that she would not stay. Even if she stayed and was attached and was crazy as AF as I knew she was, I knew that all she wanted was the buzz. Divine, feminine, empath, earth angel. You are the buzz. Can I look at you? I'm trying to find you. You are the buzz. You're what makes things interesting in that connection. And you have propped your masculine up, given them a lot of self-esteem and everything. And they have this juicy idea of relationships that maybe they didn't even put much work into. They did it, but then the karmic sees it and thinks, I'm going to get what you have. I'm going to take that from you. They don't realize what they want is you. Now, I've said this in other videos where I've been more cocky and more bitter, but I will tell you the truth of the matter is upon me dissipating some of those energies, I come down to the brass tacks and to the lowest common denominator. You were the common denominator. That's what they had in common. That's what made it so titillating and exciting, was that they were betraying you. I clicked that the Bible is a narc, the playbook, and narc repellent spiritual path has become. Oh, let me see, Emily. Oh, you'll have to explain that a little bit more. And maybe I'm missing some part. But what I was saying, guys, is that it's about you. That's what you just need to know. So many clients, and I've been for the last few weeks because Mercury's been in retrograde, we're dealing with stuff. I've been dealing with clients that are losing their mind, and I don't blame them because I did too at a certain point. But I lost it in the prediction a couple of years ago. It wasn't when it happened. When it actually happened, I was ready for it because I knew what was going on. But when it first hit me that the premonition that the karmic was getting that much access, and my person, my piece of shit, was giving them that much access to me and betraying me, I was like appalled. I couldn't understand it. I didn't get it. And it's because she wanted to be me, because she wanted to compete with me, because she thought she was better than me. She was racist, and she was, emotionally inbred, and maybe actually. And I'm just calling the thing a thing. And she was like, how she didn't understand or comprehend why my masculine was attracted, or why she thought I was so special or valued me, because she'd never been loved by me. That's why. She had. I always mix up my nouns. Narcs the lesson, the angels of earth of Jesus Christ. Yes! Thank you, Emily. I'm going to read that back once I'm done with my train of thought. That was brilliant. Thank you. In any case, guys, that's what you guys need to know. Your person and the person that they're triangulating you with, that person is super obsessed with you, y'all. That's it. That's all. The other thing that you need to know, too, is that they will want them to divorce your energy completely while still holding on to other things. That was my favorite part, I will say. After it was over, I was like, ooh, good game, Karmic, good game. She taught me a lot of things as a Scorpio. I have Scorpio in my chart, so I got to fight with her energetically in that way, and spiritual warfare is very real. So I got to war with her right at her level, and the battle continues, except now I'm incredibly happy and removed, and I have peace about it, and they're still going through pure hell, and it's really just kicked up, and more things to befall them, because that's what happens when we're spiritually protected, guys. And also you get their gifts. Can I tell you that too about the karmic? So whatever it was that was alluring to the masculine, you get that. Even if you never use it with the masculine that was stupid and went in that direction, or failed the loyalty test, or whatever you want to call it, you get their gifts, which is something a lot of us aren't talking about. I got both of my masculine and the karmic's gifts. So whatever their gifts of persuasion were, emotionally, sexually, energetically, no, I didn't get the lower vibrational stuff, but I got some extra juice and juju, and they are now devoid of them. So whatever spiritual manipulations and gifts, whatever ways that they were able to get by in the world, they no longer have. They now have to develop new coping mechanisms that will not be as successful, because now people have seen them. That's another thing that happens when you get through this. If you claim and own your power, it's almost like when they put in the fine print, if you redeem this before this, we'll give you a refund or a rebate. Well, not everybody takes up that company on the rebate, because it is the fine print. Empath, Earth Angel, that's what I'm here to tell you. I'm reading to you the fine print. If you decide to strip them of their gifts energetically, it's as simple as saying, I'll take that. Thank you. The universe just gives it to you. And if you decide to remove the veil that's been around them, that you probably put up as protection, guess what happens? Now the whole world sees them for who they are. I put that on both my karmic and the person. I said, I removed the veil. That's it. That's all I did. And that means that they are no longer able to manipulate in the same capacity, which is lovely. But that's what I want you to understand. That karmic wants to be you. You get to have their gifts. Take your energy out. It's not fun when you're gone, and they can't, they're still fighting about you like dummies, and you don't want anything to do with them. Mentally ill, Lord, the blind leading the blind, but you don't want anything to do with either of those dirty dogs. And you have moved on with your life, and you really will. What that karmic is a representation and a mirror to you, though. Let's talk. You probably had some traits like that karmic, or you and your masculine could not have been attracted. What kind of person was the karmic? What kind of person were you as you evolved? What kind of person when you got initially into the trauma bond with your masculine? I had to look at those things and I had to say, I see your codependency and your boundless rule breaking and your lack of morals and everything. Because I think at one point I may have had that too. Not to that degree. These people were actually terrible humans and terrible parents and real addicts and like a real story of intervention, like for real. But what I will say is that if I stripped away all of the ancillary bullshit that came along with it, the demonic attachments, yeah, the humanity of it I can relate to. I can relate to wanting to be loved and wanting a lot of attention. We all had wanted love or wanted attention. I wouldn't call myself an attention whore like I would my masculine or the karmic, but I definitely get it and I can relate to that. But what I wouldn't do is be devious and evil, and that's what they did do. And that's where they are so not like you, because you kind of were integral and you stood in your space. Anyway, that's what I wanted you to know. This person can't even compare. We don't compete if we don't compare. And that's why I'm like, stop, get out of the Jerry Springer match with the trashy people that like want to fight, because that's the only way they feel validated, is if they're creating a drama where people are fighting over them. I say empath and I submit to you. I'm living it. It is true. You can have people that love you without there being a fight. And that's okay. I'm still feeling incredibly validated. I still have good quality people that love me in my life, but I'm not making people fight over me. And if someone tells me this hurts my feelings or I don't like this, I have to take that into account. Even if I've been mindless or inconsiderate, that's not something that your karmic or the masculine will be. But it's not about the masculine as much as you think. They wanted to make you feel bad and feed off of your energy. Why were you so happy? Why was the relationship so good? What is it about you that makes you so different? Why do you deserve to have that kind of love? So they thought they could take it, not realizing that you were the source. I know it's just a hilarious laugh. The masculine energy, we're going to call my masculine Miss Hannigan, has no clue how to be a good loving human, because she's not. She was fed a lot and spoiled a lot. And so what that means is that to someone that wanted to extract that from her, she has no way to give that on a regular basis. You were the resource empath. And that means that the karmic is now like, damn, you're not what I thought either. So there's disappointment all around, except for who? You, because you knew, because you got out, because you stopped letting her feed off of you. That's why it was so exhausting. Truly, I actually felt the feed. I have a video up here where I talk about the boa constrictor transfer. My masculine was this little baby snake and she was a boa constrictor. And I had dealt with my masculine's bullshit for years. But when the boa constrictor, the karmic, was attached, that's when I was like, FOH, fuck out of here. I was like, absolutely not. You've interloped and you have done the most. This piece is not getting to use me as their host. And that's exactly what those parasitic energies want to do to you. The karmic wants to feed off you way more than the masculine. She's got a girl crush. That's why I named this Girl Crush Way or whatever. She's got a whole girl crush on you. She is freaking obsessed with you. And you got to be careful, because that can be something that's dual, right? At first, you want to investigate who you're going to be in the fight with, right? So we all can get into that. And when I realized when I realized what it was, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And this was a lesson. My angels were like, write this down and let other people know that if this is the situation between you and a masculine, let the masculine go. Because the karmic is soon to go thereafter. Now, some of you guys have written me, and some of you guys have been clients, and you said, well, they got married, or they did this, or they did that. But they're not living in abundance, because what they got was born out of lack and poverty consciousness. It was born out of greed. Lack and poverty, that doesn't make sense. They're into polyamory. They have multiples. They have many. Yes, they do. However, the one good thing about the many was always you. You get it, empath? It's not... When you take yourself out of the equation, it changes everything. Another message coming through is that the karmic, a really like low vibrational karmic that maybe your masculine's karma, will get them to leave everything in their life and their family, and they'll keep theirs. That's what happened in my situation. The person got my person to walk away from everything, abandon their child for a couple years and just live their best reckless life. And I don't give a damn what they ever say to my face, because they know that they are full of lies. They can never debate me on that. I feel so sensitive about the child. I'm a former teacher, for those of you that are new here, so I'm very particular particular about children and their care. But the karmic was a terrible parent, and thereby, birds of a feather, they both became both the terrible parents they wanted to be. I will say this, I can't blame it completely on the karmic, because I saw terrible parent behavior from her previously, and that's why I was in her life specifically for that child. But what I will say is that that transference of energy is a very real thing. So watch it. It can be wild regarding bad parenting, drug addictions, sexual addictions, polyamory, orgies, all the things that can happen. Bad company allows you to get into that. But the karmic will keep their family. That karmic specifically kept her full family, kept her husband, kept her side girlfriends, kept her other booze that she was probably curating. But she insisted that the masculine that she was trying to take from me, because she wanted to just make me sad, really is all. She wanted to win. She wanted to see me down bad. Who the F do you think you are? Why do you know all those words when she could barely read? Literacy matters. So she was really confused and really, really hurt by that. And she wanted that masculine energy, which was a woman in my life, but to abandon their family completely, which they did, and she kept hers completely, and more, was adding more the whole time, and had somebody else she was really into. She just wanted to win, and that's the message for you. Karmics want to win at all costs. They don't care about who wins or who gets lost or if they actually wanted the thing. And that was the part that was the most delightful to me. I was like, oh, you dummy, you didn't see. She would get you to leave everything and leave you on your knees, and she went back to her family. You see, that's the beauty of this balancing out. So when you figure out what the karmic's about, get out. Don't stay there and try to fight for clout. For what? For that peace? If someone betrays you and turns their back on you and wants to go to somebody else and wants to be ugly and lie and deny and then make fun of you and be malicious and vicious, come on, y'all. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go to what they better know. And what they better know is trash and lower vibrational people. Now it will be mirrored back to them. So you don't have to punish your masculine. And I recommend not letting them back in. I'm not letting my masculine back in. I don't care if she came folded up in a box and was like, surprise, it's me. Can we go out for bagels and lox? I would never, ever, ever, ever allow somebody who would betray me that way to come back around. And it's so important because what they chose was who they are. That's who they actually resonate with. And you may say, but no, that was my person. No, that's their bitch. They wanted to be a bottom bitch for somebody. That means like in a pimp, you have your person. You have several prostitutes, but then you have one. So your masculine became a bottom B for someone who was really a dominant energy. All karmic females are masculine energy. Tingles right now on the right side or the left side of my head. That's about lack of nurturing. So a lot of your masculines had mother wounds. That's something that you need to understand as well. So they gravitate towards what they feel is a masculine energy. And let me explain that. If your man is a man, so let's say your masculine is an actual cisgendered man, right? And he went after a karmic came after him, because usually we hear that in affairs. They were so aggressive, they threw myself. That's masculine energy. That doesn't mean that we don't have both, but it means that the karmic is in balance. It has more masculine energy. It means they'll be aggressive. It means they'll yell. It means they'll be argumentative. You've heard Cardi B and other people talk about, like, my men, you got to be toxic. Men only like it when you're toxic. That is a misnomer, but that is evidence of our toxic upbringing and abusive patterns of relationship, that we think we only get attention. But that does turn on a beta masculine. The masculine in my life was beta. They thought they were alpha. Hilarious. They were beta, beta, beta. And that person that they dealt with was masculine energy. So it felt good to be chased, pursued, to have someone revealing their pum pum at work and being wild and low vibrational and filthy and dirty and trashy and maybe fun. I'm sure it was. But it was masculine energy, which would end up dominating the masculine, you see, which would cause resentment later and hatred and whatever, because now they're demanding, where are you? They're doing things that we expect men to do, right? That's the masculine energy. At first, it's fun. Nicole Kessinger, back to you. She pursued Chris. She was aggressive. Chris said it in his interviews. I don't know if I would have found fault with my marriage had Nicole not come into my life. Why did he start to juxtapose? Because when we compare and contrast, one of those things will end up looking not right. Now, I did a video here about Jennifer, Angelina, and Brad. Angelina was the karmic in the relationship. When he compared and contrasted to Jennifer when he was working on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it was Jennifer that ended up looking not right. But where do we see him back? time after time, after he's taken a couple trips around the sun with the crazy that wasn't divine. I love Angelina Jolie, but I promise you, if you were to ask Brad, he'd say that big crazy, okay? And it's because she's a Gemini, so there's duality, another message coming up about that. But the point is, he's right back with the divine feminine because that's where the nurturance and care was. Now, maybe he didn't fracture it to the point, obviously, where Jennifer doesn't hate him. Not all of us can be there. But what she did do was what I recommend that you do. She walked away from her boo. She loved Brad, but she knew that she wasn't going to try to fight whatever the force field was there because Brad needed to learn some lessons. And when we saw him coward and with his head bowed, and now he's in court cases and caught up and he's being considered as abusive. Is he? I don't know. But that's what happens when you get with a karmic. Whatever their drama is, whatever their lineage is, whatever their karma is, you're going to get that. That's why I say get out, feminine. If you notice your person has chosen another person over you, you do not want the karma and to find out what that karma do. I know for a fact some of the things that are going to happen and have happened in that person's life without ever having to look back because they were predicted to me before I ever left thee, okay? Before I ever walked away and said, oh, goodbye, I guess I won't die another day, but you might playing with this. And that is what people have to understand. It is up to the masculine to resist. Otherwise, he was never your man or your woman or your friend or your bestie or your sister or your cousin. Whatever the karmic relationship is with you or whatever the divine person was or the aligned soulmated partnership was, they get to vote themselves off the island by choosing something else. And that person that wants them to choose them is really way more concerned about how it's going to hurt and affect you. That kind of evil is a no-no. It's something you don't do, and the universe pays them back in so many ways, tenfold, years and years of karma for that. That's why I say get out. And don't try to predict too much. You usually get it 1 or 2 chances. Do you guys remember any of this? Comment below if you do, to kind of predict what's going to happen, but then you have to get out. There were several times throughout that situation where I could have said heads up because I knew about things that were going to happen. I felt car crashes. I felt different things. I didn't understand it. I'm not going to lie and say that I knew exactly who and when and what, but I felt things that came true, and my angels were like, we told you not to say anything. This is the choice that masculine energy in your life made, that beta masculine Miss Hannigan made. And now she's got to deal with the consequences. You can't save her. You are not a buffer, and no one's going to save her. And people are going to pass away around her. Because the karmic that she chose specifically was Scorpio, and that's death, rebirth, and transformation. I knew for a fact that people would die. And I was terrified, and I did not want to be part of that. Not everybody gets that deep of a premonition, but that's the energy that was attached to the karmic that the masculine in my life chose. Death, destruction, death through sexual energy, specifically destruction through sexual energy, because she was a corrupted sexual energy. She was the shadow side of the femme fatale, and the hedonist. And so I knew that what it would cause and how it would cause great effects and cause loss of respect and cause a perversion of sexual energy that would infect if I stayed attached. Even if I wasn't sleeping with that person, even if I wasn't in her house every day. Did you see what I said about the infestation at the beginning? It started in her house 900 miles away or 500 miles, however many miles away we are. We're a lot of miles away. 9 hours. I always get that confused. 9 hours away. 500 plus miles away. It started in her house, and then it was in my car. And I will never forget it. And they said, this is spiritual warfare. That's why when I talked about this before and people were like, oh, well, it doesn't matter and it's over. It was the most intense spiritual warfare I've ever been in because it happened to me in multi-layers. It wasn't just, I feel a way, I had a dream or a premonition, and it wasn't just like, oh, I should pray about this or light a candle in the kitchen. It was non-stop, visceral, real information and attacks. And when I felt that, I was like, she's way in over her head, and I can't even have her back in this. And after a while, guys, your angels will instruct you to step away because there will be, excuse me, this is bothering me, there will be melee in their life. And my angels were like, get away from them, get as far away from them as possible. Just peace out, be like, good luck. A lot of us want to stay and fight. I'm going to stick beside him. Don't stick beside him because you don't want that karma. I didn't want to be poor for the rest of my life. I didn't want, well, I'm not going to even say the things because I'm sure one or both of them is still watching. I am not going to say all the things that will happen to them, but I saw it and I was like, damn. And I felt bad for my homie, like Ace. I was like, oh, it's too bad you're a betrayer, Judas, because I would have tried to save you from this. But here's what happened. Consequences. Last thing. When I was trying to save them, don't save the karmic, don't try to save your masculine. I was getting sicker and sicker, and she was kicking me more and more in the face. It was a disgrace, and I had to save face and get out. I was embarrassed for myself. Stop trying to give them information and help. They don't want it. You know what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened when I tried to save my masculine. She looked at me as a hating, jealous bee. She was like, oh, you're just mad and salty. You don't want me to have love, whatever, which is so funny because in our dynamic, my masculine wasn't my lover. This was a friend who had been a lover, but we had been friends. Does that make sense? So that's a complicated, sticky place. It would have been 20 plus years, a lot of time, and everything was okay. Everything I thought was fine, but clearly it wasn't. But she still felt competition with me and still felt like I was living in jealousy when I never lied. Literally, I know that she wishes she could look back at that time 3 years ago when I predicted stuff over her life, because everything I said and more stuff than I even am allowed to know and see has come true, and it is going to continue to unfurl until they both, well, are held accountable for the things that they did do. So in any case, that will be the same for your masculine. Stop trying to save them. Stop trying to save face. Hey, Emily. Hey again. Okay, no worry. Watch again tomorrow. That seems good. So I definitely want you guys to pay attention to that, okay? That you can't stay and clean anything up, because then the attack kind of gets turned on you, because it's not what you were supposed to do. It's a loyalty test, guys. Yeah, that's what you need to know about the karmic. The karmic comes in process. It's a loyalty test for your masculine. The karmic is way more obsessed with you. The karmic is infatuated and wants to be you. And she just wants to take from you because she wants to cause pain, because she's a negative, nasty person. That's truly who she is. She's vain. And she doesn't understand. So if you guys look different too, that's something she'll compete and try to pit against you, and your masculine feeds into it like a dummy. And guess what happens? Their karma in that is that they will deal with things regarding their aesthetics for the rest of their life, where they just don't physically look ever right because they had so much to say. I just watched them build terrible compounding karma for themselves every single day. They thought that I was unaware and silly and stupid. I just was looking at them like, hate it for you, because this is something you're going to wish that you had an empath like me in your life to fix. But you don't. The guys, pull yourself out. Don't be the person to fix anything for them. Let them figure it out on their own. Even in these videos, I've been so careful to disclose karmic things that I see happening or anything like that, because I knew that those demons always want to get paid back. They got their power for their 15 minutes of fame. They thought they were leaving high school again. They were bullying. In any case, oh, I love you guys. Emily and Jess, you guys are being so sweet to each other in the comments. I love community. Anyway, that's what you need to know. So stop being in your head about the other woman. She had the girl crush on you. She investigated you like Nicole Kessinger far long before you ever knew who she was. She was doing that. And Emily says you can't fix them because you can't break them. Oh, I love that. You can't fix them. And you didn't break them. Emily never told a lie in that sentence. Absolutely. I love that. No, don't retract it. That was a good message. But anyway, you cannot fix a narcissist. You cannot fix an abuser. You cannot fix a parent that neglects you. You cannot fix a toxic masculine that's supposed to respect you when all you've ever given is respect to them. So let them. I love it, Emily. Got it. You didn't break them. You are absolutely right. So let them fix themselves. Stop predicting. Stop being the elf on the shelf. Stop helping. Stop watching over them. I told my person, fly like a bird, dance on the tables, be a drunk asshole, do the best, live your best life. I am out of trying to save you. I saved the kid, and I got out, and I got to the light. Sometimes you just got to do that. What do they say when you're on the plane? And if it's going down, put your mask on, get the kid's mask on. Good luck to the people around you. Let them fix it themselves. Exactly, Carolyn. Let them fix it themselves. Otherwise, you get their karma. I do not want toxic, trashy karma of the girl that masculine chose. I knew what her life was going to hold. I knew why she was so upset and angry and mean, because she was abused every time she was seen by somebody that didn't want or love her. So she wanted to pass that along. I knew what kind of nastiness resided in her, where she needed to feel powerful. And I thought, I know what her karma is going to be, because I know how long she's been a bully. My angel showed her life to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to see. But they wouldn't show me my masculines. Isn't that interesting? Because they knew that I would probably have too much compassion to save. With the toxic tiz, I was like, girl, you better behave, because these angels are about to whip your ass. My ancestors are whipping your ass. Isn't that a turn of events? Turnabout's fair play. It's come round and full circle for a racist that wanted to fly in my face and wanted to be heard and wanted to be seen. Well, now she is heard and seen. She feels karmic retribution. It is no longer a dream. It's now a nightmare. That's what happens with the karmic energy when you separate from there. Let them now live fully immersed in their nightmare. They wanted to be nightmares together, Bonnie and Clyde. They are an old Victorian, let's go restore Grand Mansion, not an abuser. Exactly, Emily. It's so funny because it makes me think of the Notebook and how Noah was restoring that mansion. Let them go and restore themselves. Let them fix themselves up. We are not Joanna and Chip Gaines. I put up enough shiplap. I should have charged the masculine in my life for all the shiplap I put up in her life over the years. She owes me millions of dollars, and I mean that, compared to what my fees and rates are at this time. Millions of dollars of me investing. Why? Because I was codependent. Can I tell the truth? Maybe that's a message that resonates with you. I overgave to someone who didn't do anything but abuse, who didn't care, who loved to use, who loved to take, who loved to be fake, who loved to pretend, who wasn't my friend. I overgave again and again to this Prakalisha who never was going to end the taking. And if I didn't walk away, then it would have been my heart continually breaking. Sometimes, as much as we hate our karmics, they are a wish fulfillment with the star card here. Aquarian energy, something eccentric that makes you into a different person and sends you into a different stratosphere, ruling space travel and time travel. I needed to get out of that karmic loop I was in for so many years, living someone else's bad luck and bad karma. And then she met up with exactly the right person. Emily says exactly. They aren't a fiber fixer-uppers, but want to be loved and less lonely. So much that I think I'm not a DIY project, yes. But I want to be loved and less lonely so much that I think I'm not in a DIY project. Yes, I don't want you to be like you're in a DIY project either, Emily. You will be loved. You are loved. I want you to start claiming that over yourself, so you know you're loved. But I know what you mean, and I know what that feels like when it's missing out of your life in a more direct, up close, personal way. We are meant to be in connections and have intimacy. And with an empath energy like you grow and ascend through good, healthy relationships, but relationships that protect you, my friend, Miss Emily, relationships that protect you. You are to be protected. And I don't think that that's something you've had a lot of in your relationships. But anyway, message, we can get deep on that. For those of us here, maybe that's something we haven't had a lot of. I know protection or lack thereof was something. And that's why it's such a powerful, oh, thank you, Emily. That was something I needed to say. It was such a powerful lesson to me, to watch the divine masculine, restorative masculine, turn her back and walk away and betray and betray and betray. It was a wound that only I could heal, but it was something that I had to feel, and it was a father wound for me. You see, she had a mother wound with masculine energy, and I had a father wound. And so what happened was my father hadn't protected. And so I manifested relationships where I wasn't protected. I put weight on to protect myself. You guys get it? I did a lot of things in my life to keep out the bad, to keep the users and abusers out. And I still had all of those things happen to me. So I realized that my weight and my body was not the end all be all. And that having one person in my life that I dedicated myself to didn't protect me, because that one person betrayed me and became Judas and turned on me for nothing. And so that's why this karmic energy, believe it or not, is a wish fulfillment. Because had that karmic not come in to distract the masculine and to press and see the weakness that was in the masculine energy that was in my life, I would have not found my backbone. I would have not stood up for myself. I would not have been in the fight. It was the best thing that happened to me. You will not think that when you're in pain. And I promise you, if you're new here and you're just going through this, you're in pain. And I feel it for you. And I have actually felt it and I empathize with you. But I promise you, on the other side of it, there is real partnership with divine alignments that are real and have the ability to go the distance because you're vetting, because you're not taking the same shit. There is also real vim and vigor that returns to you as you feel proud of yourself. And there is also realizing how powerful you are. These two people orchestrated a whole play in the background of your life. You had no idea. For many of us, we didn't know it was going on for a long time. Even if you predicted it, you may have shut yourself out or numbed yourself. I was kind of aware, unfortunately, however, because I was like, this is not going to play out this way. I was just watching, and it was like a movie for me, too. I was like, wow, let me get my popcorn. I wonder what she's going to do. But she did all the worst things that she could do. She made all the worst choices, and it was a sight to behold. But here's what it did. It gave me power to move forward and to loosen the hold and the grip that some divine masculine or distorted masculine or karmic may have over you or your mind. I want you to get out of your head. I want you to be able to sleep in your bed. I want you to know that you gave the best that you could ever give, and that you did not deserve, my sweet empaths, to be left for dead. Leave them for dead with their scorpionic death, rebirth, and transformation energy. Let them figure out the better person that they maybe can or can never be. But that's no longer any of your business. If you were a blessing in their life, they got all of the messages. They know everything that they need to do because you talk to them ad nauseum. I know you and that. You talk to them and you directed them, but you don't stay there to get their toxic karma, to be in the fight, to have some girls following you and slashing your tires and stalking you at night, to be having someone call your phone and yelling at you and trying to demand what you can't do. That's that masculine energy that they were so attracted to. It's turned on them. It's not sexy anymore. It's not what they thought. It's not what it was before. And that's what you need to know. As soon as you leave, the interest begins to wane. And some of those karmics will leave your masculine insane. Oh, thank you, Mason. Another banger. That's crazy. I was just talking to my nephew-in-law who says that all the time. Another banger. Anyway, whenever we're listening to music. Anyway, thank you, Mason. But that's the energy that you guys need to know. Take your energy back and let the karmic and the masculine go. Stop trying to save them. Stop trying to intercept. They wouldn't do it for you. And that is truth. And I don't want you to become mean, right, and jaded. But I do think that you will assimilate some of their toxic energy at first. And so you have to kind of transmute that and decide how much you want to give back of that to them. I spoke about this in my last video and I'll touch on it here again. I definitely had to stop myself from getting as low vibrational as those people. And that's another reason to separate from them. Because I started to think like the karmic, and I was like getting super toxic, and I was like, I could do this, I could do that. And what I mean by do is meaning like nothing hands-on, but I knew how to pop up. I knew her husband. I knew things, just like she knew things about me, but I knew them spiritually. I not from stalking on Facebook and socially. I knew them because I was given true downloads, and my angels had to pull me away from that energy, because for the karmic and for the masculine, I could have wrecked shop, but I decided to stop, and I decided to transmute, and I decided to write, and I decided to make videos in the middle of the night. And that's how I got my energy back bright, because y'all, it was a dark night of the soul, and I am human just like you. And I thought of all of the very appropriate and earned things that I could do to give them the real karmic retribution they deserved. And then my angel said, we do it better. We will get this first. You leave it to us. You disperse this toxic energy and get back to being the empath we called you to be. Emily says you can't heal in sickness. I didn't realize until I realized, it's humbling to realize that I was toxic too. Wow, Emily. That's why Emily's one of my favorite boos. We were toxic too, Emily, weren't we? I was toxic. I was overgiving. I was over loving to someone who never deserved it. Not one single day in her life did she do anything in mind to make her feel that she deserved that kind of energy. In fact, what we do is we hype up these masculines so much that they're like, the grass is greener. I can go find a better bee. It's hilarious. They don't realize that the good part of the bee that they think they're going to found is found in thee. Meaning the only reason they even have the self-esteem to move in and out in different directions is because you poured love into their soul. It doesn't matter. if it didn't take hold, you did. At least you cover them. That's our magic empath. We cover them with our magical, sparkling energy. And then that karmic was like, ooh, I see something that should belong to me. And then they take it. And then all that energy goes away. Now they're broke. Now they're fighting. Now they're sharing STDs. Now they can't get their kids to respect them. Now they've lost their reputation in the community. Now no one can look them in the eye. Now they're seen as a pariah when they walk by. Now they're wearing the scarlet letter. Now their life's never better. Now they don't have money. Now the car broke down. Now the kids are sick. Now the insurance doesn't work. Come on. Now someone else is on their man's dick. It rhymes. I had to say the rhyme. Now you are dealing with the full onslaught. People are gossiping about them. They're the talk of the town. All the things that they wanted to do to put you 6 feet in the ground. What do we say? Be very careful when you dig a grave for somebody else, because it might be the one that you fall in yourself. Recently, a member of the Rolling Stones, one of the managers, died. He was digging a grave for his dog and he fell into it, and now that is where he does reside. Maybe not actually, as they've moved him and done the things that they needed to do, but that was a metaphor for the karmic, not and you, but the karmic and the masculine. They dug a grave for you. They thought you would be in. They gossiped. They were embracing sin. They loved it. Debauchery, talking about you, three-way calls, treachery, lies, deceit, making fun of you, malicious, salacious energy. That's what they get back. That is the attack. The plan of attack is to walk away and let them feel all of that in slow motion. For a lot of you guys, here's a prediction: 10 years. So for people that have betrayed you, they will not be able to pick themselves up. It doesn't matter if they think they'll try, or they might have a few sunny days. That's great. My mom always taught me that it rains on both the just and the unjust. So I'm sure that the sun will shine on them. They'll go for a walk in the park. They'll feel great. Maybe they'll have sex with a new stranger. I don't know. It's so funny. I'm thinking of Kanye. He says, you got a new bee. Now you're Jennifer Aniston. Full circle moment. Jennifer Aniston's now hanging out with Brad again. Isn't that funny how that works? Divine feminine, please know this. Stay away from your masculine, and he's going to be begging for you to hang out with him again. That, again, is a channel message for you. That is not what I want to do. And any masculine in my life that's an ex, please stay the freak away from me forever for life. But for those of you that want your masculine back, and they did on some level, not just always attack, and they had some protection, and they did have your back, and they just went astray for a little way, then welcome them back in after they atone for their sin. But there are some sins too great to overlook and to forgive the betrayal of, okay, for some of us. And that's why I say walk away. When you get to that point, when you know your masculine is gone, I was like, I don't have 16 years, 5 years to give to you. I have years to give to the world, to new people, to new connections, boo. You do not deserve this much of my energy. You're not worthy of it, and you're not doing anything with it that is worthy. So I was disgusted. When you start to realize your value and your worth, empath, I was like, what am I doing here with these crazy dummies, like, that actually don't care? I had to walk away so that I could get out of my head, and I could come teach, and I could get better, and I could stop feeling crazy. I was starting to feel crazy, and you know why? Energy transference was happening to me. They actually were two mentally ill people that will cycle on and off their meds or self-medicate as they love, and that's their preference with their addiction, sexual, drug, alcohol, otherwise. But they were mentally ill. It was hilarious to me when my masculine was telling me, I'm counseling this girl at work. I was like, you're a basket case. What do you mean you're counseling? You barely could string together 3 good days to give to your son, but you got good energy to give to a hoe at work? I was perplexed, and I wasn't wrong. She did not have good energy to give to a hoe at work because she didn't generate good energy. You know who generated good energy? You, empath. We generate the good energy in these people's lives. They pass it along to someone else who's siphoning and sucking. It feels so good. That toxic girl had never had good energy in her life, so she was like, foo, 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 and I could feel it. And I was like, you think you're pulling a fast one over me, homie? No, nay, I see you. And I resent you too, because you didn't take care of the thing you were supposed to do, and that's the kid. That's the kid. So that was my story, and that was many of the reasons that I pulled away. But your divine counterpart or distorted counterpart may think that they are Captain Save a Ho, or save a he, or save a she, or save a we. They might save their family. Whoever they have ostracized you for, they will regret it for the rest of their life. It is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. But when you let go, the loss that they feel is something that permeates every wall. They will never, ever, ever, ever forgive the dogs that barked, that took them away at night, the things that made them have to fight. You see her fighting to control all of these animals. Your masculine, when they don't get under control their energy, they will watch you sail away, sail away, sail away. And on to another day. I love the blush in that. Blush has been a color coming up for me, that rose gold coral color. Yeah, it's a sunset on them. You see how he's tied? You see how he's connected? That's him connected to the karmic. The thing that never wanted him to go, the thing that never wanted him to reach, the thing that never wanted him to teach, the thing that never wanted them to learn, the thing that only wanted to see them burn everything that they cherished and loved, so that they would only have them to connect to, so that they could be the only boo. And the gag is, the karmic never really wanted to be the only boo. She just wanted to make sure that he let go of you, because that's where she derives her happiness and her success from, is causing someone else to have dark thoughts. Those sleepless nights you had, she fed off of that. That's why I say disconnect. She wanted you to lose because she just wanted to. She thought she was better than you. Now the universe and the world and everybody she encounters in her life will show her exactly how she's not right, how she was never better, make her feel lesser. I felt sorry for her because I thought, oh, you messed with the wrong one. And that's something that your karmic interferences have also done. Empath, if you're here still watching, they messed with the wrong one. Now their angels and the ancestors that protect you are dealing with them. And your masculine can't save them. And who cares? Like, the point about it is I was more focused on, like, let this girl get fully all of her recompense. And she wanted to interfere, let her feel fully what that feels like, even if it takes years. I want her to understand that. And God said, don't you worry, Monette. We aren't going to miss a crumb or a detail. She will know in excruciating ways exactly how you feel or how you felt when she was in charge of the hand that was dealt, and she decided to be cruel because she was a fool. And now the ancestors will take her ass to school. I love to see it. Walk away. Don't you stay another day. Let those karmics have their way. Your masculine insisted that he wanted to play, and play he will, and so will those demons, and so will the devils, and so will all of the things he signed his soul over to. But now, my sweet empath, earth angel, and divine feminine, that doesn't have a damn thing to do with you. I love you guys. Get out of it. Open your eyes and see that your masculine, no matter how much you loved him, is exactly with the toxic Prakalisha, exactly where he should be. If he didn't love you, then he was a fool, and clearly he needed to go back to the universal school to learn a few lessons about when to let go and when to appreciate the things that he used to know. Emily, yes, I said karma. I hope you have the life. Did you say karma? I hope you have the life you deserve. I did. In my last video, I did say that. You made my day. I feel reassured. Good, Mason. I'm so glad you feel reassured. That's exactly what I'm here for. Sometimes they ask me to channel some messages. Yes. Karma, you get the life you deserve. Yeah, that was one of the things I have said in other videos, Emily, is that the masculine in my life was like, I got the karma you wished on me. And it was hilarious because it was like 3 weeks after the initial breakup years ago. And I was just laughing. I was like, you are wildly unintelligent if you think that you tortured me and lied to me for years and years and years, gaslit me to my face, treated me like pure crap, and you think that you got a slap on the wrist and karma's done and they take it back. I was like, you really are naive. It's so funny. You know what's so funny about this, guys? Your masculine that you're so attached to and attracted to is the immature version of you. I looked at that person and I was like, oh, this is how you guys used to look at me. I realized what my masculine saw or used to see, and what they taught the karmic to see was someone who they thought was a duck, that was someone who they thought was down on their luck, was someone who they thought was a doormat, was someone who they thought that they could attack and that I would not fight back. And I watched her become docile and weak and wimpy and gross. And I was so unattracted. You know what's so funny? The masculine energy that she was attracted to was what I used to be attracted to the most. She used to be that energy, but then she turned into this weak, wimpy, host for parasitic vibrations and energy. And that's just one of the things that happened regarding the karma and her saying, you wish this on me. No, Emily, you're right. They get what they deserve because they treated you a certain way. Karma is all about balance. It is not about wishing something on them. I only wished for her anything that she wished for me. I never added more. I didn't put 20 on 10. I didn't say, I hope you get hit by a car when you walk out the door. No, that's terrible karma for me to even have that energy. She had wished death on people and they had actually died. She had wished ill on me and wished that I would die in this last couple of years, wished that I would shut up. Her and the karmic both did. And every time they did that, I could feel the energetic hit, and I just reversed it and sent it back unto them, because that's what they want in their life, is to feel that kind of level of energy of people wishing death on them. It could never be me, Emily. And that's why karma is what you deserve. What does she deserve? What does the karmic deserve? The karmic interfered, knew all about me. She went out of her way. It wasn't like we fell in love happily and accidentally. It was purposely done, and my masculine played into it because she was dumb. And she liked to have fun. Sagittarian energy never evolved the home records of the zodiac. So they wrecked each other's homes. Well, I'm sure that the karmic is more intact because that karmic was smarter than the masculine that didn't have my back. So sure, she probably has a great family structure. And maybe now she even has my masculine as a family member subservient to her. That's what she deserves because that's what she thought I deserved. That's what she felt about me. Does that make sense, Emily? Like, she only thought that I should be her slave, actually racist, actually her servant. So now she will be enslaved. Now she will have a bended knee. Now she will have people that she has to serve, and she has to pretend to do it happily. She gets to feel like what it is to be me in all the ways that I never even communicated to her. She will have feelings, emotions, and cry tears that she didn't even know where they came from because I did the same. And she will understand that my pain was not in vain. It will never be for me. A lot of us want to stay in the fight and try to serve to the person what they did when they were having their afternoon delights. I'm not going to go out and have afternoon delights and sleep with all of Southeast Alabama because I want to get back at someone or want their attention. No. Or because I want to get her karma. No. I'm not throwing my new relationships in her face or my new connections or anything. Emily says, I hope the mantra, I wish more better for me rather than I hope life fucks with you, a healthy selfishness. Yes, yes. Maybe I'll have to start adding those readings for the last guy that said, I think it was Mason. But no, I'm not going to stand there and wish for her only terrible things in life because that's going to come back on me. I only wish for her what she gave to me. The best part about that for a lot of us here on this journey is that those people gaslit you and lie to you. So the best part for me is when they have to look in the mirror. There's a mirror over here that I'm looking at. They have to look in the mirror of themselves as life goes on and you're out of it. See, they'll still blame you because narcissists, oh, Monette, you get to have and know hope and freedom. Would you rather be happy or would you rather be free? What do you mean, Emily? I'm curious. Would you rather be happy or would you rather be free? What choice have you made? I'm curious, and I definitely would love to talk about that. Back to the karma while I'm waiting for Emily to answer is, you don't wish anything bad on people, guys. If we're practitioners, earth empaths, earth angels, divine feminines, light workers, don't do that. You get it back. That's why I was like, wow, she really doesn't believe. No worries. Thank you. Or maybe it's just because it's going fast and I'm trying to process it. I thought, wow, this person in my life really didn't believe that I am who I say I am. I'm a spiritual practitioner, and I don't wish negative on anybody, even someone who wished death on me. She wished death on me. She wished that I would shut up and die. She wished that I would stop making her life terrible. She made her life terrible. She made her choices. I just decided, and that's another thing, guys. Walk away from the karmics, walk away from the masculines, but don't hold your story in your throat chakra, okay? If someone is a villain in your life, then that's the way they get written in your story. She just happened to have a best friend who writes. So she's now written in the story the way she showed up in my life. That doesn't mean I didn't attend to the nuances or whatever, but it means that I tell the story accurately and right as I felt and experienced it. If you don't want to be the villain in someone's life, then be a better human. That's just it. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you're retelling of the story. No, it's accurate. I don't embellish. I'm not a pathological liar or a sociopath or a covert narc. I'm telling my story because it's going to help other people rise to greater glories, okay? So I don't wish the karma on anybody. Me, here's the karma. You know what my karma is for dealing with her? Perhaps someday a great book deal. Perhaps it's the ability to connect here and begin to heal and transmute some of my energy. Some days it's to connect with you. Some days it's to help other clients find new booze or walk away from toxic booze, right? That's my karma. I've been blessed so abundantly. Yes, it was a painful lesson. And yes, in the beginning, I thought, how could the karmic take my person from me? Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging for you. Please don't take my man. Listen, what Dolly Parton missed, and I love kisses to the queen, Dolly. What I love about Dolly and what she missed in that is she put so much power into Jolene's hand. Fuck Jolene. Jolene is an insecure person who only uses her vagina as currency because that's the only way that she can feel validated. She can feel worthy. I'm begging for you, please don't take my man. I was like, Dolly, why aren't you singing to your man, your man, your man, your man? I'm begging for you, please don't touch her hand. But he did. That's because he needed to go with Jolene and learn those experiences, just like Brad needed to go with Angelina. Sometimes you need to get your ass whipped by the universe, by that person you had to have that you're so in love with, so that you can learn about real value and worth. You know, it's so funny. I used to know someone who passed away who loved the Antiques Roadshow, which is a show where we go and assess if something is junk or not. Your masculine is trash at that. They thought they had glitter and magical gold going to be worth $20,000, $40,000. They picked up and sold a Picasso, or they sold a Monet. Let's say Monet. Let's say they sold that. They sold the Mona Lisa. All right, I'm going to read through that. So let's say they sold the Mona Lisa. They sold it for $3. They're at Antiques Roadshow. They had no idea. Someone else picks it up, appraises it. They're like, oh my God, you just hit the mother lode. P.S. Message, another video, message. We always hit the mother lode, Divine Feminine, when we walk away from someone who betrays us. That's our thing. You don't think it's going to happen in the moment, but I'm promising you that it has happened. It finally is happened to me right in front. Yes, it happens. You get even better. You get exactly what you wanted to manifest, but you get it with someone who's for your highest good and your best. Not someone who's going to leave you depressed. Not someone who is depressed. Not someone who loves loving other people that are depressed. Okay? Who has time for that mess? So they devalue you. They sell the Mona Lisa $3. Woo! And they're like, you know what? The slap chop. That's what they take to the Antiques Roadshow. And they're like, this slap chop is worth $1 million. Slap chop. And I'm just thinking of the guy running his mouth and slap chop, slap chop, slap chop. So they do their slap chop. That's all the quick sex. That's all the quickies. That's all the debating and the fighting over other girls and all the drama and the multiple sexual partners and all of the debauchery. Slap chop, slap chop, slap chop. And they're like, this is millions. Fuck that Mona Lisa. And then they get a slap chop that's rusty. There's a blade that's missing. The blade cuts them. Inevitably, the karmic will cut your masculine. And I don't mean actually. I mean emotionally. I mean maybe with an STD. Because they want to keep them bound. That's another thing that I see a lot. This is something I see all over the world. Is that sometimes those third-party situations, we see it in movies, right? The slap chop man was evil. That's so funny. Exactly. They pick something evil over you. Something evil this way comes. They pick something evil over you, but they're like, "Ooh, that Mona Lisa looks like it's haunted." Because it's poignant, because it's art, because it's captivating, because it's been discussed, because it's something that other people are making a fuss over, the Mona Lisa, yeah? I've been to the Louvre. I've seen the Mona Lisa. It's very small. It's very unsuspecting. You would not think. People crush into this one room to see this one picture on the wall that you can't even get close to because it's roped off. But that's us, Divine Feminine. Magical, held back, alluring, carrying a certain mystique that everybody would like to take a deeper peek at. However, they cannot. So they traded in the Mona Lisa for the slap chop. They get the slap chop, and they worry why the world is getting rocked. They worry why things are not going their way. They're worried why their money won't stay. They're worried why their kids disrespect them and hate them and resent them. They're worried why their body looks different. They're worried why they're sick all the time. It's because you gave away the thing that was divine. That's their karma. And more comes with it. It's compounded. But yours, for being true and being loyal and being you, is that blessings befall all over you and your angels and ancestors treat you so beautifully. They know exactly what to do. So that's the thing that I have to say about that. Your crazy masculine wanted the slap chop instead, and then was like banging his head against the wall. What did I do? How do I get this back? But you can't go back. There is no backseas when you give away the Mona Lisa for the slap choppy. Okay? Let me see what Emily and all that stuff say. Yeah, because 3 years old has good taste or can resist impulses. I will have to look up slap chop. I feel like I just insulted 3-year-olds. Hilarious. And Emily says, it sounds like you are free in every sense of the word. I hope. That saying, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? I say, would you rather be happy or set free? I don't know if I'm free in every sense of the word, Emily, to be perfectly candid with you. I'm still working on my healing. I'm out of the like sad, mopey part that happened, a couple of years ago that I was like, oh man, I was heartbroken, because I didn't ever think the person would be such a terrible, vermicious canid and betray me so deeply. But, shit happens. None of us are exempt, right? What do they say? Worse things have happened to better people. Yeah, so I got betrayed. Yeah. And what it did was it put me on my path because as empaths, we transmute energy. I can't say that I've got this licked, Emily, in any regard, but I can say that I am free of that crazy energy. And for you, I'm curious. That's crazy. Very true. Yes, they are. They fall apart. They do fall apart. And now all narcissists and abusive people are stunted in their growth. So they are essentially from toddlers to teenagers. Emily, do you feel free in every sense of the word? I'm so curious because that's pretty deep. Do you feel free? And the thing about it is well, I was right. I tried to do both. Let me answer that. I tried to be in denial. I made the prediction that she was going to do all the things that she did to me. I didn't even tell her all the things I saw because I thought this possibly can't really be. But I was not wrong. She did all of them and more. She did more things that I even predicted and saw. But I was right? And I thought that if I tried to ignore, suppress, or numb that she was telling the truth to my face with lies and gaslighting, that I would be free. Like, I'm still going to be here. I get to be in this relationship and it's going to be okay. She's not disrespecting me to this level. But no, being free was when I told her to fuck off. That's when I got free. When I was like, you know what? You're the worst kind of person. And you're worse than everybody you ever thought was the worst in your life, than your mother that's passed away, then, like I had to get real, like, super hood. In fact, it's so funny, Emily, I got free because the ancestors came and helped me. Her mom and my dad showed up at her place at the time that she was doing the deepest gaslighting, when she was the most addicted, when she was in the most love addiction, when she thought she was lying right to my face. And her mom, it's weird, I know this is going to sound crazy, but her mom was the one who kind of freed me in a way and was like, this is my daughter, like, take a look at her. Like, this is who she is. And we're disappointed because we have been talking to you, because that's what I do. I transferred some energy and some messages and trying to tell you to tell her to stop. But man, she's done worse than even I ever could or did. And she's worse. She's the worst of us all. Like, she almost, it was like a family curse came back to life. I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird thing. So I set myself free. But I don't know that I'm free from everything, right? I think that with toxicity like this, you get it out in waves, Emily, like shrapnel and splinters, right? They come out a little at a time. And so I've been teaching these lessons, but yeah, that was in that video, Emily, where I think I talked about her mom coming through. It was like in a video a while ago, with the one where I cried a lot. Yeah. So that's the energy, guys. So for those of you that had not heard that story, that was that. And that was it. So anyway, I was set free by ancestors, truly. She'll never understand it or believe it. I've detailed it vividly. It was a powerful thing. It's like one of those life after death experiences. People don't believe it until it happens to you. Until I was looking at our parents sitting in the living room, I was like, oh shit, this is real. I always said I didn't want to see things, but man, they showed up. And they showed up. Yes, her mom did know her daughter best. Exactly, Emily. Her mom knew the daughter best. The whole time I had been channeling messages, and it wasn't that many, maybe 4 or 5 throughout the many years that I was friends with this person. Friends, oh my God, it's all relative now. But her mom, I was very attracted to her mom. And what I mean by that is very drawn to the energy of her mom. Not anything weird, but her mom would come to me in dreams and have little messages and whatnot. But her mom didn't know her daughter best. I kept trying to make her daughter into this like princess, into this magical person, but she was grimy AF. And way worse, she'd been in, it's funny. The full circle moment was she had stood in a lot of judgment. This is something to understand about your masculine and pathology. They may stand in judgment of a parent that they end up being worse than or exactly like. And I don't think her mother was to her vibration, actually. I don't. In fact, I saw her mother being very disappointed in her and was kind of trying to warn me. I was like, this is your daughter. And she was like, I know, but this is my daughter, you know? So anyway, that's the story for those of you that are new here that did not see the video that Emily saw. It was both of our parents are crossed over, but they came in to help alleviate me and help me break free. And they told me to leave this karmic situation. This is a terrible situation, and it's going to end very badly for these other people and their families. Get out of it, get out of it, get out of it. And so my family, the ancestry of our families came in. Her mother, my father, both crossed over to communicate with us, and they actually set us free. But I loved your question, Emily. There was a lot to deep dive in there. All right, guys, I have been going and prattling on and on. I love this so much. I don't know if I have anything else that I'll jump on here tonight with, but I wanted you to know that. I'm sorry, I wanted this to be like a quick informative thing. My angels and I just run our mouth. So for those of you that listen for the whole hour, God bless you. Put it on, wash dishes, do you. Boo. But remember the lesson. 1 and 2. That's what a relationship. Not 3. That's a crowd. 3 doesn't make you proud. 3 doesn't make you feel good. 3, grimy. Exactly. People are grimy. 3 makes you feel depleted, especially when you're the third party. That was the thing that rocked me. I realized that she had a full connection with somebody, did it right under my nose, and I was the third party after 20 years of loyalty. That was unacceptable for me, and I was not going to stay there and feed them any more of my energy. And I suggest you do not do the same. Now, depending on your sign, you will not take this message in vain. But for my Leo energy, Leo sun, that was never going to fly. So we had to say goodbye. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Mason, Emily, and everybody else. Carolyn that popped in. Thank you so much. Come back and join me next time. Walk away from the karmic and your masculine. You get a better partner. You get better love. Emily says, Mona, I want to share with you, but can't find your PayPal or Cash App. I know you don't expect it. Oh, my love. You're a sweetheart. You're right. I've been doing a lot of lives and just doing the work, and I haven't been highly focused. I think I'm Radiant Angel on Cash App and on Venmo. If you send me anything in Venmo, mark it private because I'm Monette on Venmo, I think, but mark it private because I don't like everybody seeing everybody's minis, okay? But on Cash App, I know we don't have that option. I think I'm Radiant Angel. But it's in some of my other videos that are like go, okay, remember how I was gone for a couple months, Emily? Go to the videos that I posted before that I know that I have my Cash App in there. But thank you. That is so sweet. And you are always amazing. You've always asked me about that. You're the reason at 11:11 that I actually started putting that in my bios, but I've been moving around a lot. If you can't tell, I've been traveling a lot in the last couple months. So in any case, guys, that's what I want you to know. Thank you, Emily. You're a sweetheart. Radiant Angel. I think it's Radiant Angel Readings is what you can find me on in Cash App. In any case, don't quote me on that. Let me make sure, and I'll put it in when I am back home and can do it from my computer. All right, guys. Walk away from the karmics. Stop trying to save your divine masculine, distorted masculine. Stop giving them heads up. You get a couple of times to do that and then pull out, because they will pull you into a black hole vortex of karma and debauchery and low self-esteem. Quick message. Derek Jackson's wife. We all saw that. He was a YouTube guru, and he was hecka cheating on his wife. She had Stockholm Syndrome, and he pulled her. It's okay, but for your Biltmore jar. Oh, Emily. I will be going back to the Biltmore. You're a sweetheart. Thank you. Oh, you just made my night. Derek Jackson, karmics and wives. He was sleeping with all these women. He pulled his wife on Stockholm syndrome, and then she has to deal with the aftermath of that, which is causing a real mental breakdown. When we saw that video of her talking to him and him looking like he was holding her hostage, there were parodies made about it. It was so intense, it's so narcissistic on his end, such an empath dynamic of her writing that letter saying, you know, I was studying other women and how they were having sex and whatever. I saw the mental illness developing in Derek Isvile. Exactly, Emily. The mental illness developed in her head. And all of us, there before the grace of God go all of us. That's why God told me to get out. I had too much pride, thank God. And he was like, step aside, step aside. You're not going to be comparing yourself to this person that's never really even had sex, that doesn't really know what good sex is. When I'm talking about the karmic, like I understood her life and I understood that sexual energy is what she used, but because she was devoid of intimacy, she was not a lover. She was just used to abuse and being abused and abusing other people. So my God was like, you can't be in your head about that. You're an empath. Your poom poom is full of prestige. It was hilarious to me. The way my situation worked out, I understood exactly what it was all about. But what I'm saying to you is with Derek Jackson, you see that. You can get into your head. That's why I'm telling you to walk away. You don't want to be his wife. They're looking and watching him have sex with other women, or like she watched videos of it and comparing your body, all that stuff. We all have a way to connect with someone. Each one of us can be amazing lovers, even if you don't think you're good at it, and even if you don't think you know what you're doing. Our empathic nature makes us beautiful, connected lovers. And if you have a high sex drive too, that doesn't hurt. That happens to be my ministry, but it doesn't hurt. I had a porn star in her earlier in my other live, which is hilarious. If you have a high sex drive, you can combine all of those things. So don't you be comparing yourself to the karmic, who probably it was what, like having like frat girl, you know, like I'm immature, they don't know what they're doing yet, sex, they don't know their body really, they don't know what, you know, y'all, you can't do that. And when I watched Derek Jackson's wife, it just broke my heart because I was like, oh, this is why you guys got me out, because God forbid I was in that position comparing myself in any capacity, not just sexually, to a succubus. Come on, succubi energy, the devil, the real devil. Come on, y'all. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I love you guys so much. Emily, I will get that information up for you. Thank you for asking. I love the Built Marjar energy. You are the sweetest of sweethearts. Come back and join me next time and we will continue to evolve together.